Yep, that's what happened. You guys, it's like you were there.
I was there. I am also
You were in
reintroducing the
Atlanta.
podcast.
You made your way all the way down to Atlanta just to come to Music Midtown. That would have been cool.
I could, if I didn't have a family, but I do, so I can't.
Wow.
My family was around me. It was a lot of people I don't really know their names or anything, but they're my family. So
Kesha is my
fuck
family.
you.
Kesha is my sister.
I'm never gonna say that.
Well, we have things to talk about tonight, boys. And I first want to jump right in and talk to Chira personally, because he's my brother. And I see that he is grinding once again, back in it, back in it hard, hitting platinum. Or
I've
hitting
been
the platinum ranks.
Plat 3 right now. I think I'm 33 points from promos once again. So yeah.
Once again, as in you were
Once
in your
again.
Plat 2 promos at some point?
No, I was in my Plat 5 to Plat 4 promos 4 times and just could not win to save my life in that last game. Like, first game, stomp. Next 2 games, not stomps. Just lots and lots of depression. I'm following in your footsteps, my friend.
Well, that was last season's footsteps. This season, I made it all the way to Plat 1 without a problem.
Well, go fuck yourself. You know what? It's not so easy for everyone.
Can't all be as good as this guy, who's got 2 more games left to play this season.
Yeah, well...
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he's doing that.
How long is each time till decay? Is it 3 weeks?
28 days.
Those are different numbers,
Really?
team.
Yes, 28 days.
I thought they lowered it. Maybe I was thinking of Challenger or something.
No, like Masters
Challenger is something
10
different.
days.
Or Master or whatever, yeah.
Masters
It always felt
10
like less.
days. Well, no, I think they just changed Challenger and Master, didn't they? With like the you can bank days and then get like you can have up to 10 days a grace period, and then you have to play a bunch more to get the grace period, etc.
Well, luckily that doesn't really apply to any of us on the podcast, or probably any of our listeners. So, because I don't know why they'd be listening to us then for advice.
Because maybe they just
all
like
the
to
great
hear us
Kesha
sultry
commentary.
voices. But no, I was specifically
voices.
pointing out Chira because Chira, you and I had some discussions. Obviously, I had made my way through and hit Diamond this season, and then I started talking to you about it, about how I'll say easy it was, or how much less of a grind it was than I thought it was going to be. And we started talking about it, and suddenly you jumped back into it. I kind of wanted to talk about the end of the season, talk about ranked, and what's motivating you, and how can we give listeners motivation to continue to push through if they're in the middle of the ranks to try to get to that next Division 5 tier.
A big motivating factor for me is just kind of the people that I play with a lot, which has mostly been Whale and Bow. That's all they play. And I just kind of log on and immediately get an invite to play ranked, and that's straight up probably the only reason I play as much ranked as I do. I'm not even kidding.
That's like the most anticlimactic answer.
I don't really even care where I end up getting ranked for the season, so I'm the worst person to talk to about this. But honestly, the grind hasn't been that bad, and I also found a champion that I really fucking like in Swain, who I just play top lane and turn it into how badly can I beat the shit out of somebody who doesn't know how to play against this character, and just turn it into a giant CS game until I can teleport and pick up a triple kill. That's kind of my modus operandi.
But it is kind of the same token. Like, whatever your friends are playing, that's kind of what you're going to end up doing. And like, he's found a group that he likes playing with, and that makes ranked a little bit more enjoyable. Whereas, as he said himself, if his friends weren't playing ranked, he'd probably be playing something else.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense, and it's one of those things too. Like, for a really long time, I was probably the player out of all of the podcasters in the network that played way more fan games than anyone else for a really long time. But like, ever since they added dynamic queue, it's so much easier to play ranked with more people. That, and I've been subbing a little bit for Frown's ranked 5's team when they don't have their 5th, so that's been kind of fun too, because those are a breath of fresh air compared to some games I've played in the past. But yeah, I mean, the people I play with just play a lot of ranked. So if that weren't the case, and if I wasn't able to play with, like, the nice thing with dynamic queue is I can play with as many friends for the most part as I want to in ranked,
Yeah.
and it's great. And if that wasn't the case, I'd be back limited to only being able to duo. And I would rather play with more than just one person if I was playing for the ranked mode.
Yeah, I feel like I'm doing the exact opposite, where I was playing a lot of ranked a couple weeks ago, and then I kind of like stalled out, and I felt kind of demotivated. But lately, last couple, well, like, at least 2 weeks specifically, and I was sick 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago. I was playing some praying games. I was playing some ranked on Smurfs, and I was like, hey, who wants to play? I got a silver gold Smurf who wants to do some games, and I figured that would be a good way to kind of try out some champions I haven't played in a while, de-rust some of those mechanics, and get back into the groove, and just not be as stressed while I played, but still play competitively. But Poe, at the very beginning, you said it wasn't that much of a grind, but it looks like you did play about 250 games. Would you consider that? That's not a lot by most players' standards for a whole season.
I don't think that it was. So I think there's a big misconception with a lot of players that you have to jump in and you have to put in 40 hours a week, or you have to put in 25 hours or whatever it is a week to get to that tier that you want to get to. But I think there's a lot of other factors to getting to that level that you want to, that, you know, whatever your goal is, if that, we'll just call it the 5, whatever your 5 goal is, right? Or that division goal that you want to reach is. And yeah, I played exactly 250 ranked games to hit Diamond 5. And granted, I had to go from Silver 1 all the way through everything, right, to get up there. So I had to play considerably more games potentially than what I should have to play if I started in Platinum, for example. But like, I see a lot of players out there, and I look like in Vantage League, right? There's these guys that are like, I've played 1,000 games and I'm just not getting better. And we've always talked about that self-reflection and whatnot. But when you go into a game, if you're not going into a game and then going, this is what I could have done better, this is how I could have played this, or this is what I'm looking to get out of this game, if you're not asking yourself those questions and instead you're coming up with lots of excuses, you're not going to hit that end goal. So I think now is the perfect time at the end of the very end of this season to go, all right, well, I wanted to hit Plat 5, but I'm Silver 1. Maybe
the
my
end of
goal
season
is,
rush,
yeah,
so to speak.
Maybe my goal is now Gold 5, but this is what I need to focus on to get there. So we start compartmentalizing our issues, and we go, all right, well, I've looked at my OPGG in the last 20 games. My average death ratio is 5. I average 5 deaths a game. Well, that's a lot of deaths in a single game. For a while there, when I was playing ranked, my average death was like 3.2, and that's like one thing you can really start to work on. And just looking at your OPGG over your last 20 ranked games can give you a lot to look at. And that's kind of like what I was doing as I was playing there. I'd go, all right, I played 20 games. I made it to Plat 4. I made it to Plat 3. What is my biggest weakness? Well, my CS sucks ass. So I really need to focus on trying to find CS in mid-game. Okay, well, I'm dying 7 times in a game. Why? Because I'm trying to force too many things. And, you know, you start working through those reasons, or you try to reason it in your head why things are happening. And of course, there's always the Discord channel. Like, I don't think we talk about this enough, the discord.trinityforcenetwork.com. If you're sitting there during the day, just go in there and post your OPGG. Say, hey, guys, I'm having issues. Can you look at this? Maybe tell me what I can do better. And a lot of guys will just kind of, like, throw ideas out there to try to help you.
Yeah, that type of stuff could be really helpful. It's very easy to see some things from, like, a history, but at the very least, you're getting some discussion going and some self-reflection.
Adam, I mean, you ended up, you did the same thing that I was doing while I've been grinding, though, is like you playing a lot of one champion. And I know we've kind of harped on that in the past, that it's, you know, find somebody that you really like and play it. I know you found Jin. Are you still finding that in the one game that you're playing monthly right now? Are you still going for Jin any chance you can get, or did you actually switch something else? Because I know, like, you played, you had a really good Ezreal game the other day that I think you ended up losing.
Yeah,
but
that was my rank game the other day.
Yeah.
Like an amazing Ezreal game, but we still lost. I'm like, all right, well.
Yeah, I think you went like 15-3, and you.
I'm like, well, I don't die, but I can't carry the game for some reason. It's where was I going to go with this? Talking like Jin is being banned a lot now because he's one of the top carries. So, you know, I got in there with him when I could, but I think a lot of people fall into that trap of they want to hit this rank because it means something to them. Maybe this is the discussion of what does that rank mean to you, and why do you want to get there? Like, what are you looking to get out of League of Legends? Like, why do you want gold so badly?
Honestly, if I had a reason for why I would want Diamond, it's just so I can talk shit to you.
Chicks dig Elo, that's why.
Apparently.
Well, we've never talked about this in the past, and I'm just thinking of it now, and I kind of wish that I would have brought the stats in front of me, because honestly, we just kind of came into this podcast tonight. Just we wanted to send out an extra podcast for you guys, so we figured we'd just kind of sit around and bullshit, sit around the campfire and talk. And something that I don't think a lot of players realize is that, like, if you are silver or gold, right, you're actually, what is it? If you are like gold 5, you're an above average player. And like a lot of people go, oh man, you're plat 3, you're a shitter, or man, you're only diamond 5, you're a real shitter. Like a lot of people shit on people if you're not masters or challenger or top like pros, right? But if you start looking at it, like you start breaking it down like economically, like those gold 5 to like plat 5 people are like your upper middle class, right? Or like your middle class people. Those are the people that a lot of people strive to be. You're making $40K a year. You can you can live healthy. You know, you're better than the majority of the population.
You're making $40K IP a year and you're doing great.
Right. But that's why, like, you look at it like, okay, I'm now plat 3. I'm actually way above average. If you look at like percentage of the top percentage, gold 5, like 50 LP gold 5 is actually the top 25% of players in the world. There's 100 million active accounts. I think you can feel pretty good about yourself if you hit gold 5.
Like that's just, you could easily just change that mentality to, hey, out of 100 people, there are 25 people better than me. Like, there are still 74 other people that aren't as good as you. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
If you go to op.gg and you type in your name, that gives you the exact like top percentage for your current ladder ranking. So pwnophobia is in the 1.69 top percent of all players.
Wait, 1.69 or 0.169?
1.69.
Oh Jesus, I was about to say.
So diamond. So if you hit diamond, obviously you're already in the top 2%.
Well, humorously, diamond 5, 99 LP is top 1%. Like you drop a whole 0.69%.
Yeah. I mean that's what we always talk
fast.
about, where the top diamond 5 to diamond 1 is pretty much the same like skill differential as like bronze to gold. You know, stuff we say stuff like that sometimes, and it's not really that much of an exaggeration. You check, a lot of people say that, especially when you get and people say diamond 1 0 LP to masters is almost identical to that. Like it's a huge skill curve, and the difference between that is massive.
Diamond 5 100 LP 0.68%.
Yeah.
I'm pretty okay with my 8%, or I guess
for platinum.
I guess, yeah, plat 5. I have like not played consistent games since.
Yeah, I'm looking. So you had 250 games. I'm currently sitting at.
I'm at 52.
See, I don't know if this includes ranked team games. I only have 72 games this season on my main account.
It doesn't.
What's the I know that at the beginning of the year you said there was a minimum requirement for how many ranked games each of the podcasters had to play, and I'm guessing I'm fired.
Yeah,
so I'll say if we actually went by those rules, I don't think anybody like Punch would be kicked off the show, Mitch would be kicked off the show, Tally would probably be kicked off the show.
What if you include all my Smurf accounts?
Nope, it has to be main account. Everybody's kicked off. I'd probably be kicked off the show. I
wasn't here when that was instated. I don't think.
Maybe
it's also complete bullshit. It was never a real thing.
Yeah,
so.
it was a joke.
What was the number?
It was a joke that I just made up.
No,
I just made it up.
I think there was
the way
like
you were talking about it made me.
No, I think there was a legit joke like this made at one point, but it was something like we require. I think it was like 3 ranked a week or some bullshit. Yeah, or if like you didn't make it back to plat, like you're gone.
Well, yeah, that's out
congratulations,
Mitch. That's next
back.
season. If Mitch in the first like 2 months doesn't make you back to plat next season, and when he drops to silver because he didn't play at all and his MMR took the shit,
well, I mean,
we'll just give him the boot.
Even if you decay, your MMR doesn't decay. So as long
my
as
MMR is apparently real high still.
Yeah, he'll just get placed in plat again every season.
We're taking Mitch and putting him on general gaming because that's where he seems to like to go at this point.
I went on 1 episode.
Right, and now you're going to go on all the rest because you didn't.
I think it's all the
games this season.
Oh yeah, you're right. I do have that much free time to play other video games like in excess. That is what I really have right now. Is just tons of free time.
I think you just shocked us all into submission at this point by telling us that you don't want to play video games anymore.
I mean, I have no time. I have time for League sometimes, and that's about
God. No, to go back to a point I was actually trying to get to earlier, and I like to go off of it. It's talking about the number of games you need to play in a week. And as long as you're consistently learning, you're consistently having fun, you don't have to dump 40 hours in this game a week to make diamond. Like, or I'm not even using diamond, right? Like gold 5, platinum 5, whatever it is. Like I was playing 6 to 12 hours a week, and I was playing it on the weekends. And 12 hours was like a good weekend for gaming, right? Like there was nothing going on. And other than that, it was pretty much 6 to 10 hours total, like just kind of getting them in here and there and playing. And just a lot of it, I feel that if you're not doing this season and you have a goal for next, find a time where you can sit down and play for a solid 4 to 5 hours in one night and schedule that night every single week and play those games. Like you have to sit down and play. Or morning, or whatever. Maybe.
I find that there's
you played most of your games at like super early on Sundays.
I feel like there's like less toxic people on in the mornings.
I think that's all a bunch of bullshit. I've played everything from early morning to late at night, and you get the same fucking people no matter when. It's just the queue times are longer. If I played at 8 o'clock in the morning, I had like 7 to 10 minute queue times. If I played at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I had like.
I agree that there's usually a little bit longer queue times, but in my experience there's less. Yeah, no. In previous seasons, I've had the experience when I used to get up at like 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning. I'd play 1 or 2 ranked games before I went to work that day, like on a weekday. I usually found a lot less raging, a lot more like chill people. Like, I don't know. That was just my personal experience.
Then you weren't playing in Diamond 5, let me tell you. You want to deal with the shitters of the world? Fucking play in this elo. You think bronze is bad. Try playing with people with egos.
No, yeah, that's the worst part about Platinum is the egos. There's a lot of people. Not only the egos and the if I can't carry, nobody can. That's still like a holdover. Yeah.
I mean, the other thing is like running into people that get super upset when they're behind and they realize that they're not going to carry, and the guy who picked this sort of weird pick that they weren't expecting that's doing really, really well in whatever role that is. Like I was in a game where somebody picked Lee Sin support, was doing pretty good, but the AD carry was just like, no, fuck this. Like I didn't get all the kills that I wanted. I don't fucking want to win anymore. And just like sits in base.
Follow the meta.
Wait, he actually typed that? Yeah. I didn't get all the kills that I wanted.
It was more like he was bitching about like he would end up dying and Lee Sin would pick up like a double. And yeah, and then he'd be upset and just not. He'd be like, I'm not even going to lane. I'm not going back to lane. It's like,
oh my god.
All right, your lane's doing just fine. Now Lee Sin's gonna take your farm because you're not being helpful.
Yeah, right. And now he's gonna carry you, and you're gonna feel even worse when you did nothing. This dude fucking carried the game as Lee Sin's support.
Honestly, like the biggest piece of advice for this sort of thing is just chill the fuck out. Even when things are real bad, just chill out. Like there's plenty of games where I like DeClaude's mentality of don't surrender, which was always like I try to always do that, but even though I never hit the surrender button, there are games where I realize that they're just not going to be won. Like it doesn't matter if I ended up fucking acing their team 3 fights in a row, we're not winning just because we'll find a way to ace their team, but our AD carry, I'm harping on AD carries now, I don't know why, they've been failing me a lot lately.
Those guys.
Like AD carriers would just be like, no, we can get this extra inhibitor, and everybody else is backing up, and the rest of the team shows up and just kills the AD carry. It's like, oh, well, that guy who was actually really helpful last fight just doesn't know bigger map strategy and is dead. And not only did they kill him, but they're getting a free Baron out of it. So this is great. Let's just throw this game away.
I'm looking through OPGG right now, and I know this is off topic, but I just happened to find a Diamond 1 guy that Season 6 only has Draven played. That is it. Nothing else. Nothing in the off rolls. Nothing. I have to assume this guy dodges if he doesn't get Draven.
So it's a Tyler 1 Smurf.
I gotta
probably.
Assume. It looked like he played Draven's. No, he played Draven. It looks like he played Draven support one game. Maybe I can't tell. I'd have to open it up and really look. But yeah, that's something else. Just to pull it up and see a guy who only has Draven games played in Diamond 1.
He's just abusing the Draven. Adam, guess how many rank games I have this season?
75.
I have 67 wins.
Oh, okay. And how many losses do you have?
63.
All right. Well, you're still
pretty even split.
That's right. That's all you gotta have.
I'm below 50%. It's pretty fun. It's
Wait,
pretty
are you
funny.
really?
Yeah,
I was below. I was at, I think at 48% for a while, and I was still getting 25 LP a game.
Yeah, I'm at 24 and 28, but I've also like I get like 28 per win and like lose 12 with a loss.
Gotcha.
Just because I think what League has figured out, or what Riot's API has figured out, is that I usually play at the end of that time frame for me to not decay, and sometimes it's when I'm drunk because I realize, holy shit, I need to play a game before the hand.
It's giving you a drunk handicap.
Yeah, and I really appreciate that, because you can put that when you that's another little known thing. If you hit fill, then they'd say, "Wait, are you drunk?" And then you can say yes, and then it'll give you an easier game, or kick down the LP loss.
I didn't know that. I'm gonna have to test this out.
I'm gonna start using
Yes,
that
definitely.
option.
But you have to be honest with it. So you can't, if you're not drunk, it won't show up.
Do you have to blow into your breathalyzer on your desk, like to start your computer, like you would a car? Do you have to blow in that to get ranked to work?
Yeah, exactly. It's you get that plug-in. It knows that you're that kind of player, and so it puts you up against like
And
bronze
when it
players
senses
instead.
that you get up from your computer chair and you go and take a nap on the couch or in the middle of a game, it gives you a loss prevention.
Yeah, it does do that.
No matter how far you're in it. Man, that'd be great. And it's like you're not drunk enough, and then a little dispenser comes out of your CD tray and pours you a beer. Like it pulls the little cup and goes whoop, and then the tap comes out.
I
That'd be
don't
great.
even know where my CD tray is on this laptop. I don't know why I would. I don't know if it must have one, right?
I mean, I don't have.
I'm trying to figure out where the alcohol is going to come from.
I don't have a CD-ROM in my computer at all. Didn't buy one.
Damn.
Don't need it.
Yeah.
What a rebel.
USB. Yeah.
I got a floppy disk drive in there though. Played
Yeah,
some
we
old
believe
Doom
you.
on my pulling up my Doom and my DOS.
It's abandoned.
Yeah.
Just download it.
What is the other one? What's Cliff Berninski? Is that his? I can't remember, never say his last name. He had, what was it? Not Roger Rabbit, obviously. There was a rabbit game he made. Fucking what's it called?
Jazz Jackrabbit?
Rabbit.
Jazz Jackrabbit. Thank you.
Dude, that game was fucking so much fun. I played the shit out of that when it was like
Fucking
when I was
green
10.
rabbit.
Go around like shoot shit. You get power ups. It was pretty.
I do not remember this. But I'm
I need
pulling
to
up
just look
pictures,
this up.
And there was that. Dude, this isn't even League of Legends related now, but we used to go to
That'd be
those
close.
shareware conventions, you know, like the computer conventions at like Holiday Inns and shit, and come back with tons of shareware. I used to fucking play Halloween Harry. That was my jam back in the day. You were a dude running around like a flamethrower and shit, trying to save women from being captured by like zombies and ghouls and shit. It was amazing.
Yeah, I like want to go download this game. I will say, if I look at pictures of this game, I'm going to be really disappointed in how good my brain remembers the graphics, because I know it was probably just terrible now, as it should be, because it's from 1998. Like it's not like you're supposed to go back to these kind of games.
This almost looks like an old school like Genesis or SNES game.
Dude, that was a computer game, man.
No, I know it was. I'm just saying what it looks like to me. It reminds me of like Lost Vikings or something.
Right now, I'm actually typing in here because I had a good question that came in that I forgot to put in the document that I wanted to read that we could talk about.
We have a document?
No, but you just ruined it. Thanks for the. Thanks for the.
I'm not
lifting the third wall, just there, or fourth wall.
The fourth wall?
Fourth wall.
Oh
Wow.
my gosh! I'm not gonna let you lie to our fans like this. I have not made up anything so far today. That's been complete bullshit. So you can't either.
Well, that's a first.
All right, so we did have a listener question that came in. We've had a number of them. We just haven't had good shows to put all the listener questions in a while, and I apologize if you've been writing in. I have been reading them at least. So Chris writes in, and he goes, as I have climbed out of silver and into low mid gold, games have generally become tighter and contested longer. There's a joke in there. My question hinges on how to deal with base defense in late, close games when the other team breaks up into groups, or even a standard solo split push, instead of forcing a 5v5. And now he gives you a example. Let's say we have our 5 on our mid inhibitor turret, and they have 3 knocking on mid, and 2 go top or bottom to the inhibitor together. How many should go stall the 2? Should all 5 of ours try to engage in the 3? Setting aside the unwieldy prospect of getting quick consensus using pings to text solo queue, what sort of strategies should defenders employ if the other team won't group for a big all-in throwdown, but is able to apply pressure? So essentially he's saying you're defending, and you have 3 knocking on mid and 2 knocking on top or bot. How do you defend this? What should you do in solo queue? What's the best way to move this game into your favor?
Well, it really depends on your team comp. If you have like a Sivir and an Anivia, then you could just stall for days and just get farmed up and catch up and just by that. If you don't and you realize that you're going to bleed to death, then you have to just pick a 5v2 or a 5v3 fight, whichever one they're a little bit more pushed up and caught out in. Or you catch them in the rotation. You put wards by that little gate, the barrier that you can go in, but they can't. You catch one of them out over in a rotation, hook them over the wall, stun them over the wall, and blow them up while they're trying to do their little split push game. But I mean, it is hard to get your whole team on the same page.
With that rotation, it's also like getting the information on when they're moving, but also kind of keeping them in the dark. And this is kind of pun intended, because there's a lot of people, and like you'll see this all the time in any game, during a siege or defense of a siege, people put wards over those walls. And the counter to that is you can put a pink ward a bit farther back that'll spot those out. And it's very difficult for an offensive team to have to come all the way into the base because they can't go through the gates. If you use those pinks, because where else are you going to put them right now? It's not like they're going to do anything in the jungle. I mean, they could, but like you can mask all of your team's movements and catch them out with them having way less time to react. And just take advantage of that sort of freedom you have inside your own base that they don't.
A resident support player makes the pro pink ward tip. That's actually a really good one, because a lot of people will sweep and get rid of that ward and then just place another one 3 or 4 seconds later. That pink ward's actually really smart. Whenever I see people do it, I'm like, that's good. I don't always remember to, but that's always a good one.
Yeah, it works the same way for if you're sieging. You can put it in like there's like a small banana brush on top side. Yeah, there's places you can do the same thing because they want to know when you're rotating. They want to know when you're moving around, and it's just a very powerful place to put a pink. But as you're saying, if you defend that siege for a while, you're getting gold from all those waves coming in, as well as like the waves are pushing in. They're gonna get less gold from your creeps, and then the longer the game goes on, the more the gold differential doesn't matter because everyone gets closer and closer to full build. When everyone's full build, it doesn't matter if they're 20,000 gold up. They don't have extra item slots because of that.
Right. That's why Dragon and Baron are in the game to try to help mitigate the stalemate. You
can also take a look at what those, not only who's pushed up, but who those characters are that are split pushing. Because if there's somebody that can get away real easily just by popping like a Sivir ult, then that's not as easy to get to them. But if it's somebody who's immobile and is easy to catch out, you can kill quickly without sacrificing like a turret and an inhibitor because you sent that many people around. You just gotta like that's hard to obviously give a black and white answer, but
yeah, it's hard to say in a vacuum.
Wow.
But that pink ward always do that.
I'll use another thing. We have to paint with a broad brush here because there's a lot of things that can be odd with minion management and level differential and how powerful your minions are compared to theirs, and also I guess tower differential has a lot to do with that as well. But like in one of those scenarios, I'm assuming in that scenario you can't really 1v1 the enemy split pusher that well, or somebody can't, so they need that second person down there to help stop it. But your best bet in that kind of scenario, let's say you're the top laner, is to try to equalize that wave the best you can, or push it back so you have a wave of buffer. So like if they came in and they were chopping down your turret, you pushed them out and they ran out in the jungle, because a lot of people run out in the jungle and heal up, then come back and continue to do their little siege. You want to push that wave out, let them get that wave out of your base, and immediately join your team and force that all in 5v4. Try to win that team fight, and then play cleanup for there. Generally speaking, a lot of those scenarios, if they're actually banging on your inhibitor, if one person's banging on the inhibitor down the bottom lane, you're likely going to lose an inhibitor. But then you just have to. That's like one of those areas that Chira talked about, where you just have to play the team fights out correctly and really stall out to the point where you're able to fully engage on that team without getting poked down. Because you can't let yourself get poked down on those turrets, so you either have to fully engage on them or lose your turret, right? Those are your two choices. So that's just casualties of war by losing that inhibitor. You drop it, you go and you try to clear out some jungle, get some more levels, buy some more items, and then you just slowly work your way back in the game. There's no magic answer like send all 5 mid and engage, because your Amumu might never hit a bandage, or he may have no fucking clue how to engage even though he's playing Amumu, right? So,
but even if he Yeah, even if you can't, you have to give that a shot because that's really your only chance to get back in the game other than them making a huge mistake and diving. But I mean, you have otherwise you're just gonna like bleed slowly to death, as they say, and that like they say that all the time in LCS games. At least this team's trying to make a comeback and not just like seceding objective and just losing it, but losing like horribly, but just very very gradually, slowly, just bleeding to death the entire game.
Yeah, I hope that answers. Chris, I hope that gives you something to work with. I know it's again pretty broad, but it's about all we can tell you at this point.
I think those rotations, getting those wards down, getting that vision control of those like small rotations between the lanes, like the Serial talked about and I talked about, like that is a good way to get a pick off, and then they have to kind of stop the siege unless they're that much stronger than you or they have Baron. But yeah, even then, it doesn't give you fighting power.
I think the next time we come around, I remember I asked you guys a bunch of questions too. If you guys remember a few weeks ago, I asked you, what is your quirk in League of Legends? I still want to know those, by the way. So keep sending those in, feedback@trinityforcepodcast.com. And, yeah, throw those at me. Throw me what your quirks in gaming is. Tell me what your quirks in the game are. Like I said, I have to have my mouse really tight to play. Do you do something similar? That just reminded me of that as I was going through the emails. So there's I actually have another question in here that I'm going to throw out there. Wasted Whale, there it is, wrote in. And he wants to know, my question is, why is there a stigma surrounding the role of support? I recently hit Diamond 5 for the first time while solely playing support. My friends say that it doesn't matter because it's not a carry role, while I am, on the contrary, obviously think it's a vital role.
That's weird.
Vital role. That upsets me that somebody says that isn't a vital role. You're garbage. Anyone who says that is garbage, and they need to be shot.
Well, I was going to say that like it's funny because people say that it's so hard to carry a support, but people also say support doesn't matter. Like, what is it? Is it harder to carry a support, or does it not count? Your diamond doesn't count because you played support. Like, how are both of those exist in the same universe?
Well, you can't like. There's it with the other four roles. There's very easy ways to quantify your importance versus one another. Kills and assists obviously are very cut and dry, but you can have damage. You can have like you're oppressing the crap out of your lane opponent. Anything like that, you can see that. You can see damage dealt. It's a bit more difficult to quantify support's impact, which is vision, like getting vision, potentially setting up engages. There's a lot of things support does that just aren't done by other people, and so they're either less comfortable with it or they don't feel like they're. We talked about the people who get pissed off when they're not the one carrying. Like you can kind of see that if you go in and die, but your team gets like 4 kills, you might not feel as good because you died or because you didn't deal a lot of damage. And no, that is fine, but the mentality that people have of needing to carry or needing to be that one person dealing all the damage, it doesn't happen on support. At least not very often, unless you are just absolutely stomping as like support Vel'Koz or Brand or something.
I don't know. Whenever I see somebody playing support, I just
which hopefully is every game.
What?
Which hopefully is every game.
Well, I mean, whenever, yeah, that's true. But no, when somebody plays support, I think a healthy thing to do is just look at assists as if they were kills for that character.
Yeah.
And like that's an easier way to kind of quantify how much that they're helping, as like at least from hey, this is a number that lasts through the extent of the game that's really easy to access, because some people aren't going to look into, hey, this guy took this much more damage than a lot of other people and didn't die, or this guy dropped this many wards and this is what they saw and that's how many deaths that they helped their team not die. I don't know. I have a soft spot for supports because I never play it. So, but I greatly respect what you guys do, and you have a skill set that I will say most other roles don't have to that level. I mean, you have to do way more with way less, and that's something that should be talked about.
I think the next time that someone goes into a game and you have a friend who's like, man, support sucks, why are you playing support or whatever, just don't support the dude. I honestly think you should just like walk to another lane and be like, all right, well, have fun without me, and show these guys what's so good about having support.
I was in a game just the other day where the support was not enjoying the company of his bot lane friend, his AD carry, who was supposedly Diamond 2, but played like he was dog shit. That was that Varus game, Adam. You saw it.
Yeah.
And basically, like, they just didn't mesh. So as much as that guy in bot bitched, fucking support just roamed top out of nowhere. Got me a kill early. Roamed mid. Didn't really do much mid. Came top again. Got me another kill. It's like, oh, I feel great. We didn't end up winning, but also...
it came down still to 40 minutes or something.
Yeah, no, I mean, the game went way longer than it would have been with 2 people dying in bot lane just because of one guy's bad attitude. At least the support did something to help make the game go as long as it did, which was, that's a big deal. It could have been over way sooner.
Yeah, making the best of a bad situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the roaming thing too. I know this is not maybe kind of the same topic, but that roam mid is really, really fun to do as a support. Because if you're AD carry backs and you have a ton of health and you don't have enough money for Sightstone or something, or like that happens frequently, especially if you have an AD carry who's just getting shit on, like takes a bunch of damage for overextending, and then you're like, well, what the hell am I supposed to do? You can go up and place a ward somewhere and then just like swing around for a gank mid. If you have an ECC, like the opposing mid laner is probably not expecting it. And worst case, you just use some of your time to do something productive. Best case, you can get a summoner or a kill for your mid laner that they weren't expecting and are going to be pretty damn happy about.
Yeah, and you're going to tilt the other mid laner. Why the fuck is bot lane here? I mean, how many times do you see that in a game? They type in all chat. Why the fuck is AD carry and support? Like, why are you guys here?
Rip Season 2 strats. Rip Blaze Season 2 strats. The good old Taric Roam that never was. Or no, that was Dignitas. Sorry, that was a Dignitas strat in Season 2.
That was the roaming.
The roaming Taric that TSM, that Dyrus told Blaze what was going to happen in the game. So Dignitas couldn't play roaming Taric anymore. They had like a cheese strat up their sleeve. It was going to be great.
That was roaming support was like a bunch of other characters
Season
too.
1.
Like
Season 2.
I think 2. Alistar did it a lot and Taric did it a lot, but like they got early Moby boots and just would roam like crazy. And I forget what ended up changing that ended up making it way worse to do that. Maybe it was experience or something. Maybe.
No, this was early Season 2, or I guess mid Season 2, before people were really doing that, because the meta didn't develop until like the mid or end of Season 2. Like, didn't really start to hit hard.
I mean, you were seeing some crazy shit bot lane until the end of Season 2.
Yeah. Well, was it Dom that talked about last week? Maybe he talked to me that individually. I think he said on the podcast how we were playing Yorick top all the time, and then like the Koreans come over and they're playing like Rumble and shit and just decimating the hell out of everybody. And they're like, yeah, that champion really isn't as good as you thought it was. Play this champion now, right? But just to go back on topic with that support, I don't get it, man. I just don't get the people out there. I don't understand why people are out there telling other people that they're shitters and whatnot. And like you're obviously higher than anybody else, and then I don't know. I think you just need to walk away from your friends at that point. It's gonna be almost impossible to do. I get it, but like,
yeah,
you got friends
so
calling
easy,
you absolute
then you do
shitter.
it.
Hey, I'm gonna walk away from all of you soon. The difference is I actually can prove myself.
Ooh.
Yikes.
Oh, are you starting a diamond-only podcast?
Yeah.
I am. It's going to be just me ranting for an hour.
It's going to be Adam playing with himself like usual.
Excuse me. I don't have a good comeback for that right now. I had something and it went away.
It says you prefer solo preference on your account. I was just, what were you thinking I was saying?
I don't know what I'm thinking, Tally. I think I'm going to punch you in the face. That's what I'm thinking.
Wow.
Right in the jaw.
Great job, team.
Everybody give us help.
I have no comeback for that, because once again, the white trash talk that is pwnophobia.
Was that like double entendre or not?
Wow. Man, I feel like this podcast is completely just like it started out strong. I had a topic, and then everyone's just kind of like, well, we're gonna phone it in.
Not. What's the next listener question then?
There are
no. I would say the better way of saying that is you had an idea of what the podcast was supposed to be and didn't let any of us know. So
I didn't have an idea what the podcast is going to be.
I
had
exactly.
an idea.
Let's argue about something that is irrelevant at this point.
It's not irrelevant. People enjoy listening to each other argue.
Just
and you know what?
Just bitch at each other.
You know what? I should have to be the only one that comes up with topics for this podcast. So I'm going to link.
I came up with the topic. You ignored it.
I didn't ignore anything. I was fucking busy today. Listen, bring it up. What are we talking about?
Oh, I said a good idea was to be things that like we bring up individually, things that we learned that have been in the game forever, but we just realized. Like, I did not realize that red buff did burn damage to towers.
As soon as you said that, I got so frustrated that I didn't even fucking say anything to you for like 10 minutes. I was so frustrated. I'm like, you're a fucking jungle main.
I know, but I think that I was taking a break of League of Legends when that patch hit in Season 5, and I just...
like that for over a year.
It's been like that for...
Correct, but it's not a super noticeable effect. It didn't really show up on my old computer. I noticed it on this one. I was like, wait a second. We don't have Mountain Drake. There's no burn. Wait. Oh, red buff.
Knowledge gap.
Yeah.
But sure, you want to talk. You thought Muramana was still an active item.
Yeah, but they fixed that. I've done nothing from.
No. You said.
No, I forgot. I bought Muramana, and I've talked about this before. It was actually during one of the times that Kha'Zix was a pretty strong jungler, because I kept making a joke that I buy tier on Kha'Zix every game, but I actually did it because I fucking went Muramana Kha'Zix. Yeah, get over it.
And never activated it.
3 Alex.
And that's the thing. I did not realize for like 6 months, maybe more. It could have been a year. I don't know. I did not realize that you had to activate Muramana, and I had been buying it on multiple people. I was bad.
But today I learned was you said, oh, I didn't know for the longest time that you had to activate it. I'm like, you don't anymore, and you're like, yeah, you do, and I'm like, no, you don't.
I knew that
riveting.
I knew it was something different, but I don't fucking care. I never buy it anymore anyway.
I mean, I was throwing myself under the bus for a little bit there just to get a topic started, so you can't say I didn't try, Pwn.
Hey, I threw myself under the bus a few weeks ago when I was going through a Vantage VOD, and I'm like, why the fuck couldn't I hit this person? And then I realized, and I had no idea, and Red's been this way forever, Red Trinket, that Red Trinket disabled vision when you walked into the bush. I had no idea that it completely disabled wards as you walked into the bush. Yeah, I didn't know
I said that multiple times in the podcast.
Apparently,
I said that a lot of times I sweep.
Not like anybody else does either.
Oh my god! If you ever see me like play Vantage League 2, a lot of times I'll sweep the bush and just walk right through it, because if they're not paying attention to the mini map, you'll just come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought there was like a bush bug. So I'm like, all right. I even clipped it. I remember clipping the things. I'm like, all right, I got to ward this bush. They walked into the bush. Is it not giving me vision to this little area they walked into? And then someone was like, hey, you know that it disables vision. And I looked it up. I'm like, oh, I'm a fucking idiot, man. And then now.
And he's diamond.
Right.
He's diamond.
And
hey.
I saw.
And if the humorous thing is, now I've been paying attention. I'm like, this is the best thing ever. Why have I been using this forever? I'm like, I can see fucking wards when walking by a bush, and now I know the ward is there. I can fucking see the outline of like Kha'Zix and shit now.
That makes some sense, because you've been doing nothing but playing AD carry. So when the fuck are you buying a red trinket?
Yeah, but
I played jungle though at the beginning of the season.
I know.
But it's been that way since they introduced sweeper.
I had no idea.
It's always denied vision, so you could always do those run through ganks. Is something I always took advantage of when they first introduced trinkets in general.
Never bought.
And that's why you
ever.
That's why you like the fucking warding jungle item so much.
Yeah. But I mean, you made fun of Pwn and say he's diamond, but I mean, there's Masters Challenger level players that don't know things.
There was
they say 100%. Stupid things, and it's just the mechanical gods that came from other games. And I specifically remember coaching a team, and their AD carry said, our AD carry main, who was a master level AD carry, he was a streamer for a while, and he said, oh yeah, I like Tristan and Kate because they have the same range. He didn't realize Trist's passive made her range increase.
Oh.
This is a diamond, so it's a diamond 1 master level AD carry main. And he specifically chose a matchup into which he said, oh yeah, she has the same range, not realizing that she had less range to begin with and just more late in the game. But I mean, there's also small things like teammates asking like each other, hey, does Shyvana have ult up? Well, you can see that.
Right.
You don't have to ask your top laner when you're ganking it. If Shyvana has ult up, you can see it as soon as she comes into vision, because it's her Fury bar.
I can't remember who it is. There was a pro level player who didn't know that Nidalee W back in the day did percentage of life damage. He had no idea how the traps worked. He was like a Nidalee god. Had no fucking clue how her traps worked. Which, back when Nidalee top was being played forever.
That, and they used to last like 7 minutes, and then they nerfed it to like 2 or 3, I think. But
Yeah,
Sad
days last ridiculously long.
It was awesome. I miss
sure,
mid lane.
Sure,
really.
it was. I fucking hated mid lane Italy. That shit was.
I
cancer.
played a lot of mid lane Italy. I was terrible at it.
I mean, that's why you play Swain, right? The least mechanically intensive champion.
It's so easy. It's so easy.
You press R and right click.
I've been told multiple times that the champions that I am best on are ones that walk at you, and he walks at you real good. He walks at you real good.
Cereal is the ones, or is best on the ones that don't have any impact in the game because he's usually not in it.
Yep, I don't participate.
He's
just
AFK,
send me. I'm a millennial. I want a participation trophy. That's all I want.
I'll send you a glitter bomb participation trophy. I'm gonna send you one made out of Smirnoff Ice, and as soon as you open it, it's gonna make streamers and like glitter will fly out. Like, would you drink it? If somebody was actually able to ship you one in the mail, would you drink it?
That's happened before, not to me, but to somebody else. Like they shipped it across country, and yeah, you can.
I fucking love the people you know.
People I know are real. They're people. That's about the best thing I can say about
people.
them.
They're college-age kids. A bunch of dumbasses. Mitch is going to be 50 later in life looking back on his time and going, what the fuck was I doing with glitter on my chest? Sitting and talking about League of Legends.
I mean, that is kind of a weird thing that I could bring up to anybody. Like, hey, kids. Oh, wait, no, I hope I don't have kids. But hey, kids. Like, your grandpa Mitch, he fucked up a lot. This one time he was on a podcast and, like, he was pretty much still at a Kesha concert. And if you have heard any Kesha songs, which you shouldn't have, because you should be young enough not to.
It's now Kesha.
You know why? What a mistake this was.
Well, I think that's pretty. I'm just gonna kill it right there. I know that wasn't an hour-long podcast, but we're sucking fumes right now, boys.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm out of breath.
Wow. Yeah. Well, Chira, I was hoping you would talk more about like your motivation stuff to play ranked, and you're like, yeah.
Well,
I don't really have any. I just fucking
you know
play.
What? I told you I have never done better in this game than when I just stopped fucking caring. And
That's probably my problem.
It's funny because my care meter has just progressively gone down over the past 3 seasons, and I just keep winning. I don't get it. And the funny thing is, I enjoy it more too. So it's honestly, I think it's more of a getting out of the mental trap of getting so wrapped up in, oh my god, I'm winning, or oh my god, I'm losing, to just be like, look, who gives a fuck if you win or you lose? As long as you take things in stride, you're gonna win way more. So also fucking find a champion that you like to play when you're winning or losing, and you can find a way to have fun. There are plenty of games that I've been in on Swain that, like, we are not winning that game. I had like a 7-4 game the other day that we didn't win.
Like that stupid plays TV where you're yelling at somebody to ward and then you fucking drive everybody away from the base.
If anyone has a chance to go to my Plays TV and look at, there's a Swain video of me asking. This was actually the patch right after. I think it might have been right. Well, whatever it was, they had removed your ability to be able to teleport onto Elise Spiderlings, which was really depressing because I kept spamming teleport, nothing was happening. So I type out, please ward, and he wards, and he's all the way near, like he's almost near tier 3 turret in their jungle, and I go in there 2v4 and I walk him out of the jungle and everyone lives. It's the greatest moment I've ever had.
You guys
want
to see the worst plays ever? Go follow Chirajaeden on Plays
They're
TV.
Great.
Because
They're great.
He posts the stupidest fucking plays, but they're hilarious because it's Chira.
And they work, and I don't know why. Like, they shouldn't work. I don't know what's happening. They're great.
All right, guys. I think that's it. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed 50 minutes of nonsense and banter, because later this week is patch 6.19, and we'll be going over that on Wednesday with you guys. Should be. I haven't looked at the PvE, but I'm assuming it's not going to be a gigantic patch quite yet. So that's it. That's episode number 386 of the Trinity Force podcast. We'll see you all on Wednesday. Peace.
See ya.
Bye.
Yep.